Hello everyone, it's me Rinky and I welcome you all in my YouTube channel. This is the second video in my channel and it is the continuation of the previous one. And in the previous video, we were dealing with a chapter that is transpiration. And in the previous class, we completed with the definition of transpiration and we even see the different experiment to show the process of transpiration. Okay, and in the today's video we are going to see the measurement of transpiration. That means the transpiration can be measured, okay, by different method. That means how much amount of water is being eliminated, okay, that much of amount of water can be measured by different experiments, or simply we can say by different method. Okay, and today we will see the two different methods to measure the rate of transpiration in plants. So number one is the weighing method and number two is the potometer method. Okay, so let's start with the weighing method first. So in this method, first we need a light potted plant. Okay, so you can see in the figure, right, there is a pot and a plant, right, and it's very light in weight. Okay, so see, you can see a plant with a pot. Okay, so inside the pot there is a soil, right, and one thing we have to keep in mind is, see, the soil surface and the pot should be covered completely. Okay, it should be covered completely to prevent evaporation, so that the result will be accurate, or the result we are going to get in the final, that will be good. Okay, so this thing must be keep in mind. So firstly, this thing we need to keep in mind. After that, what we need to do, we need to weigh it. Okay, we need to weigh this plant. So just for example, I have taken the initial weight of this plant 100 gram along with the pot. Okay, so the initial weight of the pot is 100 gram. Okay, so this plant we need to keep it for 1 or 2 hours, okay, in the sunlight. Okay, and after that again we need to weigh it. Okay, and that weight will be the final weight. Okay, and the final weight always be less than the initial weight, because in this 1 or 2 hours the transpiration has been taken place. Okay, in the presence of sunlight, right, the transpiration will occur, right, and you know what is transpiration? It is the loss of water, right, from the aerial and the leaf of the plant, we can say, or the aerial part of the plant, or from the leaf of the plant, right. So the loss of water will take place, right, obviously, and eventually there will be the loss in the weight of this plant, right. So the initial weight will always be bigger than the final weight. Okay, so what we need to do now, we need to subtract the initial weight with the final weight. So what is the final then? What is the result? So 20 gram is the answer, or the, we can say, this much gram of water has been lost by this process called transpiration. Okay, so like in this manner we can measure the amount of water lost from this plant body. Okay, so number one is the weighing method. So another weighing method. It is also weighing method. Okay, but in this what we have taken, we have to take a test tube. Okay, and we have to take a test tube, and what has been inserted inside the test tube is a leaf. See, is a leafy shoot, sorry, and the root is absent. Okay, see, there is no root. Okay, so in a test tube, first we need to fill it with water, right, and after that you need to insert a, like this shoot, okay, without root. Okay, the root must not be present. Okay, so you need to put a plant like this, you can see in the figure, right, and you need to put a, we need to put a little amount of oil. Okay, why? To prevent the loss of water by evaporation, right. See, in the previous experiment also, what we have to keep in mind is we need to cover it completely to prevent evaporation. Okay, you can cover here, right, but in a test tube it's not possible to cover, right, so we are putting little amount of oil to prevent the loss of water due to evaporation. Okay, So this is very much important to know what is the use of oil in this experiment. Okay, so this is the initial setup of the experiment. Okay, so what we need to do now after this, see, we have to put this test tube in a beaker. Okay, so because we need to weigh it, right, we have to measure the weight of this plant along with the test tube. Okay, so firstly we need to put this test tube, okay, in a beaker. Okay, and we have to take the weight of that plant and the test tube along with the beaker. Okay, and let's say the weight of it is, let's say this is a beaker, okay, and this is a test tube, okay, and there is a plant and there is oil. And first the weight, we need to measure the initial weight of this plant, okay, along with the beaker. Okay, let's say it's 100 gram, okay, let's say, and we need to keep this setup in a sunlight, and after 1 and the 2 hour again we need to weigh it. Okay, again we need to weigh this plant which is we have inserted in the test tube. Okay, so the final weight will be there. So in the final weight we are not going to get a vast difference. Okay, only a very less amount of water has been lost. Let's say 98 or 99 gram, just think. So just say, so initial, this is the final, so only 1 gram. So what you can say, only 1 gram amount of water has been lost due to the process of evaporation in this setup, right? But in the previous one, how much? 20 gram, right? 20 gram, we can say the loss of water has been taken place, but in this setup only 1 gram. So what is the difference in these two setup is, see, in this plant the root was present, right, inside the mud, but in this setup the root is not present. You can see, right, this shoot is devoid of the root. Okay, the root is not present in this experiment, and that's why the loss of water or the transpiration has been taken place in a very less amount. Okay, so what we can say, what we can conclude is that root is very much important, right? Root plays a very vital role for the absorption of water and minerals, right? Hence the root is not present, right? So the absorption is also very less, right? So since the absorption of water is less, the transpiration is also very less. Okay, so this thing we have to keep in mind. Now let's see the potometer method. See, what is a potometer, right? First we need to understand that. So potometer is an instrument, okay? It is an instrument that we use to measure the rate of transpiration, okay? And what does the potometer mean? Let's see. See, the potometer word, it has been derived from a Latin word, okay, in which poton means drink and meter means to measure. Okay, so we can say, see, thus it measures that much amount of water that the plant drinks or it absorbs. Okay, so the root is absorbing water, right, in the plant, right? So that much amount of water, and okay, so it measures that much amount of water, okay, the rate of water intake by the plant, okay, and that much amount of water is equal to the loss through the rate of through the process of transpiration. Okay, this method says that the amount of water it intakes is not always, but it almost equal to the lost water, okay, by the process of transpiration, we can say. Okay, and see, there are various type of potometer. Okay, this is an instrument, right, and there are different types of potometer instrument are present. So what are they? See, there are various type of potometer. Okay, see, number one is the Farmer potometer and the Ganong potometer. Okay, and what are the function of these two potometer? It helps to measure the rate of water intake by plant. And another one is the Darwin potometer, and it shows the, see, what practically, or it practically means it demonstrates how the suction force, right, is created due to the transpiration. Okay, during the process of transpiration the suction force is created, and how that has been done, or we can see by this Darwin potometer how the suction force has been created. Okay, we can see it experimentally. Okay, and the last is the Garyon potometer. Okay, it demonstrates the unequal transpiration from the two surfaces of the leaf. And in the previous class I have told you, right, in the surface of the leaf, mostly from the lower epidermis of the leaf, the transpiration takes place in a large amount. Why? Because the stomata are present in a more amount in the lower epidermis. Okay, so that can be seen by this, or that can be proved by this potometer. So different types of potometer works differently. Okay, so today we will see the Ganong potometer, how it works. Okay, we will see how the Ganong potometer is working. See, this Ganong potometer is actually not to see the amount of transpiration being done, or it is not exactly for the measurement of the loss of water. Okay, but what it does is, its main function is to measure the water intake by the plant. Okay, not to measure the water loss during transpiration. Okay, so see, this is a Ganong potometer setup. Okay, how we can measure the amount of water that has been absorbed by the plant. Okay, see, this is a experiment setup. Okay, so you can see a beaker, right? Beaker is there. This is a capillary tube. Okay, this is a capillary tube. Okay, and see, there is a scale, this is a scale, and this is a reservoir. Okay, and see, what we need to do first is we have to take this beaker. We can take this beaker. After that we have to put a capillary tube like this. Okay, and in that capillary tube we have to put a chute. Okay, and one thing we need to keep in mind is we need to cut the chute obliquely, not in the straight way. See, obliquely means little bit like this. Okay, so we need to cut it obliquely before putting it in this setup. Okay, so the plant must be cut obliquely. Why? For the greater surface area, right? Since if the surface area will be large, then more amount of water will be absorbed by the plant. Okay, so first this thing we need to keep in mind. After that we need to fill the beaker and the capillary and this reservoir with the water. Okay, so we need to make this setup watertight. Okay, so this setup must be watertight. Okay, after that we need to put this plant, and we have to just keep this scale. Okay, and this scale is used to measure that much amount of water this plant will absorb. Okay, so firstly, after this setup, what we need to do is, see, first this is a capillary tube, right? So we need to lift. Okay, we have to lift it up. Okay, we have to lift it up for some time. Okay, and after that we have to just keep it in the original position. Why we are doing this? To create air bubble. Okay, we need to create an air bubble. Okay, so for that we have to lift this capillary tube in the upward direction for some time. After, we have to just keep it in the original position. As soon as the air bubble is created, it will be very easy for us to measure the amount of water, okay, that the plant is observing. So see, the plant is there right now. What it will do? It will start observing water, right? As it observes water, what will happen? This water from this capillary tube will move in this direction. It will move in this direction, right? In this direction it will move, right? It will move in this direction, and along with the water, the air bubble which we have created, it will also move along with the water, right? Okay, so it will move along with the water. But firstly we need to just write the initial position of this air bubble, see it, we have to just set up in the 0 first, okay, this air bubble in the 0 position. So initial is the, what is the initial position of this air bubble? 0, okay, and it will eventually it will move in this direction when the plant will observe water, right? And it will come, it will just, this air bubble will come here, here and initially, right? And after that what will happen, here the level of the water will start decreasing because the water has been absorbed by the this plant, right? So when the water will just stop to reach this plant, then we have to take that position of the air bubble as the final, and we have to just write it, okay, we have to just we need to note that measurement, okay, initial and the final position of the air bubble, and we can get the reading, okay, we will get the reading of that air bubble, right? And the reading, see the initial and the final we need to subtract, and after that that much amount of water has been observed by the plant, it has been proved, okay. And see again, if we want to take the second reading, then what we have to do, see this is reservoir, okay, so we need to just turn on this stop cock, okay, so that the water can enter, okay, and water can enter, okay, and when the water will just fill this capillary tube, then we need to we have to close this stop cock, and we have to follow the same process again and again, and we have to take the initial and the final reading of this air bubble, okay, and like that we can see how much amount of water has been observed by this plant, okay. Okay, so there are some precaution we have to take, okay. See what are the precaution which we have to keep in mind is the potometer should be made completely watertight. I told you this one, right? It should be watertight, okay. And number 2, the twig should be cut obliquely, right? The twig has to be cut obliquely. Why? To allow the larger surface area for the water intake, okay. If we cut the shoot obliquely, then it will be easy to observe more amount of water, okay, and even to avoid the suction of an air bubble into the twig, okay, which will stop the absorption of water into the xylem. See, the another thing is that why we have to cut it obliquely, so that the water, see if this air bubble, okay, see if this air bubble will come here, and if just it will just come near this twig, and if it has not been cut obliquely, then what will happen, it will not allow the absorption of water into the xylem, okay. That bubble will stop the absorption of water, okay, and this for that reason it has to be cut obliquely, okay. And see, let's see the limitation of the use of this potometer. See, limitation means the drawback, right? And everything has some little bit of drawbacks, and this potometer also have got. So let's see, introducing the air bubble is not very easy. See, I tell you first what we need to do. We have to lift this capillary tube to introduce a air bubble, right? So this thing is a very hard, okay. This task is very hard. To create an air bubble is not so easy, okay. So this is one of the, we can say, call it a limitation, okay. It's exactly not the limitation, but since it is very hard, we can put this point in the limitation, okay. So see, the twig may not remain fully alive for a long time. So see, since in this setup we have to take the shoot, right, and the root is not present, right. So since the root is not present, this plant will not live alive for a longer time, right. And so we so the experiment cannot be continued for a longer time, right. And the third one is any changes in the outside air temperature may affect the position of the air bubble in the capillary tube. So another, this is a very important, okay, this is a very important drawback, and that is, see, in this while creating this setup, just think if the outside temperature is just fluctuating, okay, sometimes, so that time what will happen, this air bubble will not remain in the same position, and the reading will be not accurate, right. The reading will be not good, and so thus we can say it's a limitation to use this potometer, okay. So this much for today, and tomorrow in the next class I'm going to deal with the different kind of transpiration, okay, and different kind of transpiration. And after that we will see the factor affecting the transpiration, okay. So keep watching. Thank you so much for watching this video.